what was the aha moment? I see the problem. What was that moment? As travelers, we have to ask ourselves, where are we spending our money? Are we being conscious about this? Are we being mindful about this? And so, to your question about the aha moment, that is my aha moment. Is I started to do the research and I started to put numbers to my assumptions and to change my egotistical attitude and be like, no, I want travel to be a force for good. I actually want to feel like I'm supporting the local economy here. And I want the money that I'm spending in this destination as a traveler to stay in this destination to, actually have a lasting impact. But to do that, I need to support local business.
Hello, and welcome to the Travel Outlier podcast. This is a podcast about outliers in travel, and I'm super excited to have here Safir Jamal, which I consider personally definitely an outlier, and I'm truly excited to have you here. We had a chat not long time ago, and it was really impressive to know more about what you guys are doing, and I'm really excited to somehow show to the world how startuppers can create an impact. I think this is the biggest thing that somehow convinced me to invite you in this podcast. But before to go into Global Nomad Pass, which is your company, which is a member-only group, let's say, of digital nomads that can get discount around the world, you're gonna tell that much better than me, of course. It's your startup. You are the the superhero in this. I want to know first of all who is Safir Jamal at heart before Global Nomad Pass, because there is a person that have a story that lived some experience that guide you then to decide to create this company. So I want to know who is this person, what experiences you had before, and then what made you decide to go in this direction.
Thanks so much for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here. Love what you guys are building at Blinkoo. And even since the first moments that you and I chatted, I think it was really interesting to me to hear your story, and always happy to share mine, and always learn from one another as well. So in this case, for me, before my journey as an entrepreneur started, I was really shaped by my childhood. And that led to a lot of my career experiences, but probably more importantly, a lot of my personal experiences. So I'm from Canada. I was born in Toronto. I'm through and through Canadian, but actually my ethnic and cultural background has had a profound impact on the way that I've viewed life and viewed my identity within it. So my parents were born in Africa. My parents were born in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which was a Belgian colony. So growing up, my parents spoke French, which is why my first language is French. But interestingly enough, I'm from the English part of Canada. So when I tell people I'm French speaking and I'm from Canada, they automatically assume I'm from Montreal, Quebec. That's not true. And then my grandparents were also born in Africa. So my grandparents were born in Kenya and in Tanzania, but originally my ancestry is Indian. And so my family is Indian, and we speak Indian languages, we watch Bollywood movies, we identify with Indian culture, but we have been out of India for over 100 years. In fact, my parents have never even stepped foot in India. And so the reason I bring this up is because I grew up in a multicultural city like Toronto, but even then, I had a very difficult time understanding my own cultural identity, and it caused a lot of problems. And so you can imagine, when we were in school and we have a very diverse class, and someone's like, "Hey, I'm Italian, I'm Korean, I'm Mexican, I'm confused, I'm Indian, African, Canadian." And I think for a child, you just want to fit in. Being different is not cool. And this really did shape my perspective, because I really never felt like I fit in. I felt like I was lost, and it was a hard subject for me to make sense of. And so for me, what naturally became the only way that I felt like I could understand my role in the world and where I kind of fit in was to travel. And so from a very young age, I traveled, on various vacations, and then eventually started traveling more actively with my friends. And so through that, I almost became this cultural chameleon. I said, you know what? I have a messed up story. I have a hard to describe story. I hate being asked the question, where are you from? Because I'm like, how much time do you have? So let me tell you the full life story. But I said, you don't need to know where I'm from. I know where you're from because I've been to your country. I probably speak your language. I know a lot about the culture, the food. And so I became this cultural chameleon, and really took an active interest in being able to connect with somebody from any part of the world. To this day, I've traveled to over 80 countries. I speak 5 languages fluently. And it's really given me this international DNA and this totally global perspective. Now I'm very comfortable with my cultural identity. I think it actually makes me very unique and special. And, there's a difference that we can acknowledge there. But because of that, I went really headfirst into building this passion for the world and, looking at business from an international perspective. I built my career working for a multinational corporation. I worked for Procter and Gamble, and I was the head of global strategy for Gillette. So, if you've seen Roger Federer and Lionel Messi and all these guys shaving, a lot of those campaigns I was a big part of. I launched Gillette products and Gillette advertising campaigns in multiple countries around the world. I lived in China, Japan, Korea, in Turkey, in Indonesia, Nigeria. I was always building new businesses in terms of being able to launch new initiatives in different parts of the world, understanding local culture, understanding local market dynamics, speaking different languages. Spent a lot of time in Brazil and kind of building our Latin America strategy as well. So, for me, this was all an extension of the experiences that I had as a child with my own cultural identity and just extending that into more of a professional sense and building international businesses that way. And eventually led me to an entrepreneurial journey as well.
I'm smiling because somehow I see partially myself, not at this scale, because this is, wow, incredible. This is the first time that I hear your life story, and it's like beautiful, right? So I'm actually also son of immigrants. I am from Albania originally. I moved to Italy when I was just 6 years old, and yes, being different wasn't cool at that time, But the funny thing is that in Albania, at that time, we had Italian television. So I already spoke Italian before to get to Italy.
Okay.
When I moved to Italy, I went to the first, class, and people realized I was able to speak with them. They were like, "Why do you speak Italian?" It's like, you're from abroad. You shouldn't be able to speak Italian, right? I was like, I don't know. I just speak it, And for a long time, it has been somehow, you are trying to find a way to fit in, but then you realize that there is a specific moment in which you realize that being different, it means actually having something more, not something less. And there is a specific moment that in my life I understood that, and it was around 15. I was really passionate about geography, and all makes sense because now I'm in travel somehow. And a teacher of geography told me, "Why you're sad for having one culture more when it's actually something more?" I was like, "Oh wow, yeah, I never saw that. Never saw that in that way." When was your moment when you realized that your background is actually, what makes you rich as a person, instead of something that you need to fit in within something that is boxed?
It's so fascinating to kind of think back at what our relationship with ourselves was, at a different moment in time, which is very different than what our relationship with ourselves is today. But I think for me, like I said, I was a bit ashamed of it because it's hard to explain, and I didn't see other people that came from a similar background. So when you don't have exposure to something, you think it's weird and you don't think it's normalized. So I didn't talk about it, and that's why it was almost a game with myself. And I played this game for decades, unfortunately, which was when I meet somebody, always try to ask them where they're from first before they get a chance to ask me where I'm from. And in a normal conversation among strangers, particularly when you're talking to people from different parts of the world or you're living in international cities, it's natural to have these conversations about curiosity. It's like, "Oh, what's your cultural background? Where are you from? Where did you grow up?" These are natural conversations. But I didn't want to share my story. I was ashamed of it. So I was like, "Oh, Smeraldo, where are you from? Oh, you're Italian. Oh, cool. Which part of Italy? Oh, I've been here. Oh, with this. Oh, you're Albanian. Which part of Albania?" And so I'll beat you to it, right? And I think there was a moment where I stopped doing that because, let's face it, naturally, even if I was to have these conversations, if you're a good conversationalist, you're going to ask me the question back. So
Absolutely.
I can't really avoid it. But I think eventually what started to make me more comfortable with this was when I did share my story, the response was actually not what I expected. It's like, "Wow, that's so interesting. That's so different. I've never met anyone with a story like this. Wow, that's so cool. You have so many different layers to your identity." And so when the response reinforces your original belief, that's one side. This did not reinforce my original belief. It actually defied my original belief. It's like, "Oh, maybe there is something to this. Maybe I need to lean into it." And then eventually became much more comfortable with it. And as you said, it's something more. It's not something less. And so we should actually celebrate our diversity. That's what makes everyone have a unique perspective, and we have to share that perspective with one another.
100%. And now I totally understand why life brought you to build what you're building today. And I would say that somehow it's not just the fact that you have a cultural mix to share, and that makes you interested in other cultures, and that happens to me as well. I've been always curious, obviously, because I already had something more to share to people, and therefore, like, when I had the opportunity to start traveling, I was like, wow, this place is so different, and it's super cool, right? It's like I cannot
Yeah,
predict everything here, right? There is no
right,
pizza
right.
everywhere. Actually, you cannot find a pizzeria. Wow. It was
Exactly.
amazing. So, but then there is another trait which I probably can relate to myself as well. I've been in finance before with a startup that was kind of entering in a big group in a bank, and then therefore we built something like pretty large and cool, and it's a moment in which you earning more money and all this stuff, and you were in corporations as well, so that gives you obviously the financial opportunity to then be able to travel, because travel, I mean, you can travel in different ways. It can be extremely cheap as well, but the first times you need to feel a bit more safe. So I've seen this
Yep.
huge correlation between people coming from corporations, especially finance, then ending up in travel, in terms of like, okay, I like to travel, I will do it more and more and more, and bam, they end up in the travel industry because they start to be very passionate. So let's
Interesting.
go back to the professional part. Global Nomad
Yes.
Pass. What was the aha moment? Every founder, every startup, it has a moment in which, obviously ideas don't come fully formed in general. So normally
Yeah.
it's like building blocks are coming by the time, but there is one moment in which you understand the problem and you're like, okay, the world needs this. You don't know
Yeah.
exactly how it will be, but you're like, okay, I live this, therefore I see the problem. What was that moment?
So, I mean, as I mentioned, I've been traveling my whole life. And like my fellow travelers, I think I developed an attitude, which in hindsight, as I look back, I'd say it's a fairly arrogant attitude, which was my perception was that I would think that a country should be happy to have me as a visitor because they say, look, I'm coming to your country and I'm spending money in your country. I'm helping your local economy. Like I'm doing you a favor essentially, right? And it's obvious. I mean, the world revolves around me. How can you not know this? But it's extremely arrogant. It's extremely narcissistic. It's extremely egotistical, and more importantly, it's also extremely factually incorrect. And so, for me, what I started to kind of hone in on is I'm like, well, let me call myself out on this a little bit. Like, am I actually improving the local economy? I clearly I clearly seem to think I am, but like, am I actually improving the local economy? And I say this as I'm holding like a Starbucks coffee cup in my hand and like staying at the Marriott. Like, uh, probably need to revisit some of these foundational assumptions. And so I did, and I actually went really deep down the research rabbit hole to understand what is the relationship between travel as a force for good, and in particular, I'm talking about as a force for economic contribution to the societies that we travel to. And I really tried to uncover how much of the money that we spend as travelers stays in the local economy. Um, because if you look at travel media today, a lot of the headlines are focused on, hey, this destination attracted X number of million visitors last year. And so it's really about quantity, right? It's the number of people that have arrived, right? We even call them international arrivals. That's the metric in the travel industry. But I asked a deeper question, which was like, of the people who arrived, how many of them actually spent money that is now staying in the local economy that can be reinvested in the local economy versus spent money on what I call leaky buckets? And so, what are these leaky buckets? Well, look, I mean, if I go to a destination and let's say I go to Argentina, right? I was just there last week and I buy a cup of coffee from Starbucks in Argentina. Nothing against Starbucks in this case, but turns out is actually up to 80% of the money that I spent on that cup of coffee does not stay in the Argentinian economy. It actually goes to Seattle at Starbucks headquarters. But if I bought that same cup of coffee from a local Argentinian cafe, 100% of that money and that spend stays in the local economy. It
Not
doesn't go
sure
to,
how is the coffee in Argentina, but coffee in Italy is much better than
of
startups.
course, of
You know,
course.
so
I mean, like, I'm purely building an economic argument. It's not even talking about a cultural integration argument or even a taste argument. Like purely on the basis of following the number trail, right? 100% of that spend on that cup of coffee, if you bought it from a local business, stays in the country. And it goes to an individual business owner. That individual takes that money, they buy groceries from the local market for their family. The shop breaks down, they need to fix the vinyl sign outside the shop. They're going to go to a repair shop and spend money in the local economy. So the money stays in the local economy and it also recirculates in the economy. Whereas if we buy from multinational corporations, the money leaves the local economy, goes to the corporation's headquarters overseas. And so that's a leaky bucket. And so you can think about this, it's not just Starbucks, but our entire world is becoming more and more saturated with multinational corporations. I mean, it's just part of globalization, it's part of commercialization. And so as travelers, we have to ask ourselves, where are we spending our money? Are we being conscious about this? Are we being mindful about this? And so, to your question about the aha moment, that is my aha moment. Is I started to do the research and I started to put numbers to my assumptions and to change my egotistical attitude and be like, no, I want travel to be a force for good. I actually want to feel like I'm supporting the local economy here. And I want the money that I'm spending in this destination as a traveler to stay in this destination to, actually have a lasting impact. But to do that, I need to support local businesses. And why don't we support local businesses today? Well, it's not that we don't. I think many people would say that, yeah, like empirically,
I would love
this.
to, right? It's like, obviously I'm supporting the local ones, but do you know which one are truly local?
Well, not only do you know which ones are truly local, but also we're not willing to compromise on convenience or quality. And I think what multinational corporations do is they provide consistent standard of quality. So we know what we're getting, right? You know what a Subway sandwich tastes like anywhere in the world that you have a Subway sandwich. So there's a consistent bar of quality, and the convenience factor is always going to be there. They have bigger budgets. They can afford to, lease the locations that are more convenient in the high traffic areas. They have bigger marketing budgets. So they're obviously going to be able to intercept you at the right usage occasions of whatever it is that you're looking for. So we, as a traveling community, need to not just want to support local businesses, but actually behaviorally, we need to truly do so. And I didn't think that was happening. So for me, that was the aha moment to then go and make it as easy as possible for us to do that, which is what gave birth to the idea for Global Nomad Pass.
Wow. Beautiful. And that was like the thing that triggers me in the sense of like, yes, that's it. Like somebody got to do it, right? And with Blinkoo, we are for sure in I'd say similar direction, but being a fully crowdsourced platform, obviously, it means that anybody can upload anything, and we just share the traveler's experience here. In your case, what you guarantee instead is the let's say high quality and the local at the same time. So once you become a member of Global Nomad Pass, you have the guarantee that the shops, the experiences, the tours, whatever travel and non-travel related, because you're speaking to nomads as well, which is people living for some time in every place. So they getting a haircut as well, right? So they're going to the beauty center or to have a massage or whatever, right? You're claiming that these places, they can guarantee quality and also local impact. And our question here is, how do you do that? It's very hard to know the whole world. The world is very big, a lot of cities out there, How are you able somehow to guarantee this quality with Global Nomad Pass?
Yeah, so the way it works is Global Nomad Pass is a membership that rewards you when you support local businesses all around the world. And so you buy the membership from our website. It costs $79 a year. So you add the membership to your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet, and it sits on your phone for a year. And then we operate currently we operate in just over 25 destinations around the world. And so in each destination, we hire locals. Our model is that we think locals know their city best. And so we need field representatives who are actually locals, who know their city inside out. And we spend a lot of time hiring and recruiting the right talent. And then with our local representatives, we ask them, we say, look, you know your city best. I want you to curate your list of your favorite local hidden gems. And so they have to be local, they have to be hidden gems. And specifically the categories that we focus on are cafes, restaurants, bars, co-working spaces, accommodations, fitness studios, barbershops, salons, spas, and local experiences. And so our local representatives, they curate their list. These are places that they've actually been to themselves. These aren't just some random places that they found on Google that may or may not be good. They can say, no, like, I've been here. I can vouch personally that this is an amazing place. And so they've got their curated list, which I think, again, the human element, especially as we live in an AI-driven world, it's increasingly rare, but I also think it's increasingly important. It's like you really need, especially when it's about trust and credibility and validation. For us, we put a lot of stock in that human element, and there's an art and a science to it. There's the science aspect because we have very, very strict selection criteria. Not any business who wants to be part of Global Nomad Pass can be. There's an evaluation process. You're truly selected as one of your city's best hidden gems. Some of our members have likened it to the Michelin star rating, which is a nice compliment for us, I suppose. But there's criteria of evaluation, and not anyone who wants a Michelin star can get one. You have to be selected. Kind of the same thing here. Is like it's an award to be selected as a hidden gem by Global Nomad Pass. And so we look at a lot of different factors. Quality is of utmost importance, right? I mean, people who are paying us for a membership trust our recommendations, so we take it very seriously to make sure that we're recommending places that we think are up to the standard. And like I said, across these 10 categories, there's a curated list that a local has personally vetted for you. It's not an algorithmic recommendation that may or may not be hallucinating. It's a real person who could say that, yes, I did here. But then we go one step further. So part of it is a curation. The second part is we actually build a personal relationship with the owners of each of these businesses. And so that's where having boots on the ground, having a local representative really helps, because they build a relationship. They know the local culture. They speak the local language. I mean, this is a true human-driven business. And so we build a personal relationship with the owners of these businesses, and we say, look, you're a hidden gem. We'd love to bring more awareness and more traffic to your restaurant, your cafe, your gym, your hotel. And we really support what you're doing. We love your story. We want to tell your story and share it with more travelers around the world. If they knew the story, they would certainly come and visit your business, which is what you want. And we want our travelers to have a good experience, because otherwise, I don't know about you, but like when I travel, typically I'm on Google reviews and on TripAdvisor reviews looking for, where do I go for breakfast, for lunch, for a haircut, where do I go to the gym, where do I go for co-working? There's at least 10 Google searches or TripAdvisor searches per day whenever I'm abroad of things that I need to do. But who wrote those reviews? Not locals. Probably not locals, right? And so if it's other tourists who wrote those reviews, and then here I'm telling you, Smeraldo, I really don't want to end up at a tourist trap. Well, we're looking at what tourists told us is the places that they went to, and yet we say we don't want to end up at tourist traps. There's currently no platform at scale for curating local recommendations. And so this is a great way for us to tap into local insight and local knowledge. And so what we then do is we tell these business owners that we would love to be their marketing partners for free. We will promote them on Instagram. We will write blog articles. So when someone searches for, a barbershop in Tenerife, maybe one of our articles will come up, and, it helps with their SEO and it helps them discovery, because, usually that's not something that they themselves have the skills to be able to do themselves, or they're just not investing in marketing in that way. We will send targeted emails to all of our members. So it's like, when you're in Chiang Mai, you've got to go check out this amazing cafe. It's run by a single mother. This is her story. This is how she roasts her own coffee.
It's for free for them. That's super cool. Totally you found a model to make it like economically viable for your startup, for your company, and you don't ask money to the businesses, because there's a lot of companies out there saying, hey, I'm gonna bring you customers, I will do this and this for you, but then it costs X euros a month and blah 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 blah. And they're like, please, not another one, right? But if you come to them, I'm gonna bring you value for free, you just need to give a discount to my community. It's like no brain. It's like super.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the exchange, right? So we promote them, and these are businesses that we actually believe in, which is why the selection process is so critical, because we put a lot of value in these efforts to promote them, because we actually stand by it. We believe them. We're like, we go here, and like our local partners go here, so we want our traveling members to go here too. And yes, in exchange, we ask the owners to offer an exclusive discount whenever somebody comes and shows their Global Nomad Pass on their phone before they pay, anywhere from 10 to 50% off your bill, just like that. The thing is, they can choose whatever discount they want. We're just a platform for visibility on that discount. And the discount is one side, but most of the value in Global Nomad Pass comes from the discovery. It's like, wow, I discovered this really cool place that I would have never gone to if I wasn't on Global Nomad Pass and if I didn't find out about it from Global Nomad Pass. But thank you for showing me this really cool hidden gem. It made my travel experience so much better.
I personally,
showing up at a tourist trap.
I wouldn't even expect a discount if the experience is amazing. That's a pure reality.
Yes.
And in my experience, what happened is that every time that I got an incredible recommendation was coming, from very much a person that has been long time in that place or is actually living in that place. And then you go, you go to the restaurant, you have food, and then you want to put a review because it's actually amazing. And you see that the reviews are not good. You're like, what is going on here? There is something strange happening with the reviews on TripAdvisor and Google Maps, and they're not representing reality, at least not for me. And when I speak with other people, everybody's like, yeah, well, that's actually true. So it's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Look, our society functions on reviews. So, I'm not going to knock reviews as a system. I don't think they're bad. I just think they're incomplete. I think that there's the part around local experiences, local insight, local knowledge that is not represented in reviews, because most locals don't write reviews. The majority of reviews are written by tourists. And as a result, you have an imbalance. Nothing to take away from the accuracy of the tourist experience, but I'm just saying it's an incomplete view of what that business can offer because you don't have the local perspective on it. And we're not trying to build a local version of TripAdvisor. We don't even have reviews on our platform. This is a different way of accessing local insights without the reviews being the medium of interaction.
Yeah, I 100% agree on this because sometimes you just need the point of view of somebody that represents the local experience and can represent it without too much noise. There is a lot of noise today in the online communication, and having a lot of when you see the reviews. I remember like once I picked a hotel in the Philippines in the Malapascua Island, which is a very beautiful place. I picked a hotel with very low reviews, like
Okay.
6.5 I would say on Booking,
Oh
which
wow,
is
it's
pretty
brave.
low. Yes, it's brave, absolutely brave. But then I did that because somebody told me filter the reviews by country.
Okay.
So when I filter by like let's say Europeans, the reviews
Mm,
weren't so low, and everybody was speaking about the rooms of on a specific side of the hotel because they were literally on the water. It was so beautiful in the sea, right?
got it.
And at the end, the hotel wasn't super cool. It was exactly what I expected, not great, let's say, organization or whatever, but the room
Mhm.
was actually amazing. The view was so beautiful that, for me it was totally okay. But it was
Yeah,
very hard to, it's super hard to think in that way. It's not common. So if
of
you
course.
have like a clean information about that and only that, you know that you're going for in that place for that reason, for that specific reason. So you know that the rest may not be great, but it doesn't matter because you're going for that.
For
It's like when you go to
yeah,
a restaurant that is specialized in one specific dish,
yes,
and and they are doing other stuff because they have to, but they're not great in that. So, but don't go for the rest of the stuff. Just go for that thing, right?
exactly,
It's like, come on.
exactly. I mean, I do this all the time when I do use reviews, and I'm specifically I'm like, like, I really want to go for, um, like let's say tortellini and brodo. I don't care about I don't care about the lasagna. I don't care about the veal chop. Like I genuinely don't care why people give it a 1-star review because their brunch is not good. Yeah, you shouldn't be going here for brunch anyways. Like go for the tortellini and brodo and that's it. Just filter and search for the
I,
word and
I
don't worry
love that
about it.
because I didn't expect the tortellini in brodo because I am from the area where we are
Of
doing
course.
that,
Yes, yes,
exactly.
yes.
So that's lovely. So I would say there is like very much a different type of travelers.
Okay.
Taking that from a higher perspective, there is travelers and there is digital nomads. For me, are very two different categories. Travelers, or better, tourists. I mean, there is tourists, there is travelers, and there is digital nomads. Somehow, this is like the feeling that I have. Tourists generally not even able to somehow appreciate sometimes the local culture because they're doing only what is touristic. So they stay in the touristic area, they go to the touristic restaurants, they just like maybe check TripAdvisor, or not even that, just walk in the center and get a random place and all this stuff. And I think it's also people that somehow just want to see something different and they're not really focused on the local culture and all this stuff. There is a big amount of people that has this kind of approach of traveling, and somehow it's probably a different type of traveler that even the content of Blinkoo is targeting, but for sure Global Nomad Pass is not targeting that traveler. And then there is the traveler, so the person traveling a lot that is looking into discovering new places, but understanding actually the local culture. And there is the next level, which is the digital nomad, staying maybe 2 months in one place and living there, literally living there in a flat, going for grocery and understanding the local markets and all this stuff. And that's super super cool. I've been doing that for a while as well. Let's say that you meet somebody that is from your community and is the happiest customer as a digital nomad using Global Nomad Pass. What would be the headline? What they would say to you to make you understand that you fulfilled your mission?
So, I have to say, I actually disagree with your assessment of, the terms tourist, traveler, digital nomad. I think these labels are largely misunderstood and
For sure.
also kind of unnecessary. Like the way I see it is that if you travel, you're a traveler. That's it. I don't care if you travel one time a year or 20 times a year. You travel, you're a traveler, right? And I think within the world of travelers, there are multiple different segments. And segmentation is always going to be a best approximation, but it's never a complete picture because people are different. But even within that, I mean, sure, you have digital nomads, you have leisure tourists, you have corporate travelers, you have solo backpackers, you have family vacationers. I mean, there are so many different types of travelers. The interesting thing about Global Nomad Pass is we actually serve all of them. Um, I'm personally a digital nomad, so I'm very much in touch with the digital nomad community. But the majority of Global Nomad Pass users are actually not even digital nomads. It's a segment of our user base, and it's an important segment, but it's not our
It's a
focus.
relief to hear that, because nomads, I mean, it's a super cool community, but it's not like super big compared to, I don't know,
Yeah,
families traveling together twice a year. That's like a much larger number somehow. So yeah,
of
that's a
course.
relief.
And for us, the way that we see our role within this overall travel and tourism ecosystem is the following. We provide three core benefits. We allow travelers to save money, we allow them to discover hidden gems, and we make it easy for them to support local businesses. Now, there is nothing out of those three that is inherently specific to only digital nomads wanting this, or only vacationers wanting this, or only solo backpackers wanting this. It's like all of us want to save money. All of us would like to discover hidden gems, and all of us want to support local businesses. And so, any way to make it as easy as possible for us to do that, we're all going to embrace this. And so, I hate the notion of, this traveler profile would use you differently than, yeah, they might use you differently, but like we're in the business of serving these three benefits to as many international travelers as possible. It doesn't really matter to us what additional segmentation labels they put upon themselves or the industry puts on them. And so I'd say, to your point, our happiest customers, we don't look at it from the category of, oh, is it digital nomads who are happier, or is it vacations? It's like our happiest customers are people who say, look, because of Global Nomad Pass, I saved money, and that's great because life is getting more expensive, and as we think about travel and travel expenses and budgeting, I mean, any opportunity for us to save money is welcome. But most importantly, thank you for introducing us to these really, really cool hidden gems that we have never discovered if we were just going to be going on TripAdvisor or Google reviews, or even none of the above and just wandering through. You introduced us to really awesome business owners with personal stories that we were able to support and feel like we were part of. We got a higher quality experience with our travels. We have a more authentic memory as a result of this. And that's the thing, is like the quality of our travel experience was made better because of Global Nomad Pass. I mean, fortunately, we hear stories like this all the time, and we love it. But I'd say for us, that's what keeps us going. Is just getting as many people to discover more hidden gems, and making sure that they're supporting local businesses and having a good time doing so.
That's very great, actually, because yeah, if you ask anybody if they want to support local businesses while having like discounts, it's very hard to say no, of course. So somehow, I think it's mostly about making sure that people know that you guys exist. I mean, that's the job basically. Of course, I mean, digital nomads or frequent travelers, they would be somehow early adopters in such kind of services, because somehow they see the value very fast. Obviously, when we talk about discounts, having something that you can use more because you are traveling more somehow is providing like an economical value, like faster somehow. But in the end, the pass has like economic cost that it's let's say in a couple of trips you basically cover it, and probably even less in one trip if you go to the right places somehow. So that's pretty cool as well.
I'll share
So
some interesting
if you
stats on this, actually, Smeraldo. So, based on our data today, what we see is that the average Global Nomad Pass user uses their pass an average of 3 times per day. So we see very, very high usage, which is really encouraging. Because I guess that's the thing is, remember I mentioned before, is on a given trip, I'm doing 10 to 12 Google searches of where should I go eat, where should I go do this. And so if you have a curated list already that has been vetted by a local of places you should go, and it covers all of these categories, cafes, restaurants, co-working, etc., and you get a discount, it's like, why would you even do your Google searches, right? So you can use this multiple times a day. So we're seeing high usage of that. And then the other stat that's interesting just about, the payback period is it's $78 to buy the annual membership. And on average, our members report that within the first 45 days, they've already made their $78 back. And so that means that for the remaining 320 days of the year that their membership is valid, I mean, you're going to save a lot more than the $78 that you pay for it.
That's super valuable. That's super valuable. And fun fact, we somehow work, let's say, of course, we are in the travel industry, but we're providing like ancillary services, things that are not related to travel itself, but make the experience better. In our case, what we do is creating these videos with this large community of people around the world as well, traveling and uploading their experiences. These videos are going to brands, and here it comes something that we actually are doing, let's say, somehow in the same way. We're going to travel brands and we work with them. In our case, they are, I would say, customers buying the videos, the rights of usage of the videos, so somehow our creators can be rewarded for the effort that they put in to create these videos at scale, and super cool. And you guys are also working with large corporations, could be
Yeah,
travel brands, but not only travel, because I see that you're working with companies that also are ancillary to travel, but are doing like solving very important problems as well. If you want to
yeah,
say a couple of words about that, because if there is anybody, any manager of the companies that I'm working with that is looking into doing something innovative with high impact, I think that's the moment to somehow share what you guys are doing with
yeah.
the brands.
No, absolutely. I think because going back to what I said earlier is that we serve international travelers. Well, there are many companies out there who target international travelers, and so we have found tremendous opportunities to work and partner with other travel brands to enhance their offering. So we partner with airlines, we partner with OTAs, we partner with eSIM providers, we partner with travel insurance firms. We partner with hotels. We even partner with a lot of tourism boards and destinations as well. And the idea here is that they sell Global Nomad Pass memberships in bulk to these destinations and to these travel brands. So they're buying it in bulk, and then they're giving it for free to their customers when they bundle it in with their product or service. And so you can imagine in the case of a travel insurance firm, travelers need insurance. I mean, that's just a fact of life. But not a lot of travelers have a particular affinity or brand loyalty to one another. Most of the time, they see this as a relatively commoditized product that they're doing a lot of price comparison for. They're shopping around. And so, if there was to be a travel insurance provider who bundled in a free Global Nomad Pass membership, which has a $79 value when you purchase, it's like, hey, I paid $200 for this insurance policy, but it's like I paid $120 because I got an $80 value perk out of it as well, which is really great. Some of the other companies didn't offer that, so I'm going to go with the company that did. And during the course of the year, when I use my Global Nomad Pass, I'm going to save more than $120 worth anyway. So by the end of the year, it's like the insurance is free. So you can see that that works really well. With airlines, it's like, hey, you could buy the basic economy fare, but if you buy the economy premium or economy flex, you get seat selection or baggage or free cancellation. Well, you can also get a free Global Nomad Pass. Again, it's like, well, Global Nomad Pass alone is $78, but when it's bundled in together, it's a really good deal, and it helps the airlines have a higher conversion rate, higher upsell rate, higher attachment rate as well. We've seen this used as a VIP perk for their loyalty members as well. So it's a very flexible tool. It can be used in many different ways. We've got a partnership right now with Marketing Greece, and so on the destination side, Marketing Greece is offering a free Global Nomad Pass to the first 2,000 travelers who can show that they have a proven flight confirmation to go to Greece at any point in the next 12 months. And so if you're going to Greece and you've already booked your flight and you can prove that on our site, we can actually verify that it's a real flight booking. But the great thing about that is that you get a free Global Nomad Pass that you would otherwise paid $78 for. You get this now. So when you come to Greece, you're able to support local Greek businesses, and the money stays in the local economy. So, really different ways that we can work together, but we've seen a lot of success. Some people have actually compared Global Nomad Pass and the B2B bundling strategy, kind of like Priority Pass. So, Priority Pass with the airport lounges, very, very valuable perk. I know a lot of us use it, a lot of us love it. But very few of us actually paid for Priority Pass. Most Priority Pass users, I would imagine, actually got their pass for free, bundled in with their credit card. And so, kind of a similar offering here is that if you take a broader view, Global Nomad Pass is often given for free when it's bundled in with another product or service within the travel ecosystem.
You guys did something really great from this point of view. And also, if I remember correctly, you were fully bootstrapped. I mean, you didn't raise capital since the beginning in the company. That's incredible. It's like basically the opposite of us, because we got quite a lot of capital to get this started. We are a tech company, and in the beginning it's super hard. I'm really impressed, and it's very beautiful, because somehow you were able with these kind of partnerships to move value in a way that economically makes sense for everybody and is creating local impact. It's so beautiful. It all makes sense. It's super, super nice. And I truly encourage people that is working in corporations that are connected with me through LinkedIn, all this stuff, to contact Safir, because these guys are doing really, really a good impact here. And it's a chance to do that in a much easier way, because you're gonna use a model that is proven, that is existing, and it's already having a great impact. coming to partnerships, you're really good at partnerships. I love the way that you guys are doing that, and I would love to cooperate with you as well somehow. And I have a couple of ideas that I wanted to discuss with you and see if they make sense somehow on a high level, and then we will take time to understand that. So in Blinkoo, we are rewarding creators for uploading the videos, and once the videos are chosen by the companies, creators earn by the amount of time that how many times the videos are used, or how many views they do in the specific website of our customer. It means that there is a very much meritocratic way of providing them value back to the creators bringing the content. We also reward just for uploading the videos, because that's already a big effort. Instead of just putting on TikTok and Instagram, you put it here as well in our app. So we make sure that you get rewarded for that amount of time that you spend to do that effort, and you are the owner of the content. We are not buying the rights and you cannot use this content anymore. This is your content. We're a platform. We're just distributing the content for you to make sure that you earn, right? And we provide these Blink coins, which is our internal currency, to the creators, which they can exchange for other forms of value. For example, there is The Fork and Airbnb gift cards, so they can exchange Blink coins for these gift cards, so they can eat for free and basically travel for free thanks to these partners. Why not one day to have a Global Nomad Pass there as well as one of the rewards? That would be super cool. Also because it's going to be like a perpetual value for them and not just like one trip value. There's going to be at least yearly value, right? So it's super, super cool. And the other idea that I had in my mind is this. You guys have locals working in 25 cities and doing things, amazingly in terms of selection. So what if you guys use your community of locals to create videos which are going on Blinkoo, so somehow these places get even more exposure. So it's like speaking on Instagram, but then it's gonna be a brand putting on their website, and saying this local shop is super cool and all this stuff, right? And at the same time, we provide you all the technology to bring these videos in a very smooth way, like Instagram level technology, let's say, on your website where people is looking for all the information, so they can see also the videos of the places, not only maybe the information and the photos.
Absolutely. I think, first of all, I love what you guys have built at Blinkoo. I think it's super cool, and the incentive model is very innovative and very disruptive. I think there's a win-win here for all sides involved. This is really great. And for us, what's really fascinating is we have more than 500 hidden gems on our platform already, and we're adding more literally by the day, because we're adding new destinations, and in each destination we have a new group of local businesses that we're bringing onto the platform. And so our entire reason for existing is to make it as easy as possible to support local businesses when you're traveling. Well, how do we know about these local businesses existing? We're consuming media as part of our research phase, and I think there's been tons of literature, tons of stats that have been shared about now more than ever that social media is a critical component of how travel research is done. I mean, I'm speaking to the expert here, right? You know this better than I do. But it's not just social media being used as a tool for research on where I should go in terms of which destination in the world I should go and book a trip to. I think that's at the macro level. But even when I'm already in a particular city, I've already spent the money on a flight and a hotel or Airbnb. I'm already now in the destination. Now it's like, okay, well, I've got 6 days in this city. Every single day, what am I doing? There's a research component. And where are we going to research? It's social media. And so there's a whole variety of different ways that we are actively looking to get Global Nomad Pass more embedded in that part of the research journey. And it's not Global Nomad Pass, the brand, as much as it is our local business partners that we want to showcase. And if you happen to go there and support these local businesses, that's the goal. If you go there and you support them by way of Global Nomad Pass and you get a discount, and it kind of brings the membership all full circle, fantastic. But what you're doing is highly irrelevant to, I think, our entire behavioral sense of how we actually consume information and make research-based travel decisions.
Absolutely. What you just say about the fact that the inspirational phase is not over when you book the destination is 100% true. Many times it happens that companies consider what we do at Blinkoo somehow, related to the initial part of the inspiration. So like picking a destination. So they expect just to, use the videos to sell the trip itself from Instagram with ads and stuff like that, right? Or with organic posting, which is cool. Of course, I mean, it's like if you're a travel brand and you use videos, UGC videos today to communicate, you are in the top 10% of the ones communicating. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's not over there. All the ancillary revenues that are coming from the local experiences, come on, they are huge. Actually, they can be extremely huge because people is spending a lot of money then in the trip. They want to make sure that the experience is great, and somehow being able then to intersect also this part of the traveler journey. I think it's fundamental. It's very important for brands that are driving traffic in specific destinations, and Global Nomad Pass is doing an incredible research from this point of view, and picking the best places. What we do instead is make sure that these places have a video that speak about them in the most modern way. So I'm sure we're gonna find a way then to somehow deliver something super cool together. And I'm really excited about this conversation. We had really a great time, I would say, and I was 100% sure about that because we had this call before that really convinced me to have this chat with you in the podcast. And this is about, this is Travel Outliers. I'm bringing here people that somehow are doing things differently. And for differently, I mean that when you speak with people in travel, what happens is that there is like boxes and rules. Travel, it works in this way. It's not growing super much because it's a complex industry and blah, 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 blah. And I see a lot of biases, so many biases. And then there is some people, in some companies, in some startups that are outstanding. Their companies are growing double digit, completely unrelated to what the market is doing. And it's like, okay, guys, let's listen to these people because they have a different perspective. So the idea here is to bring the people that what I see, in terms of what I see, are doing a great job and growing and creating great value in an unexpected way. And Global Nomad Pass, Safir, Jamal, you're doing exactly this. So I'm really happy to have had you here. And thanks a lot for your time here. And that's it. This is our session here together. I think we can finish here.
Awesome.
For people listening to us, feel free to reach out to Jamal directly, to Safir here in LinkedIn. He's very active in LinkedIn. When I wrote him the first time, it took literally 3 minutes to reply and set up a call. So it's amazing, to partner with him in general. So thank you very much for listening to us, and see you at the next one.
Awesome. Thank you.